The murder of a young First Nations woman was captured on video, and it was put on Facebook. Hello, true crimers. This is another missing or murdered Indigenous woman case, and this is the case of Serena McKay. Viewer discretion is advised. Serena McKay was born on September 30th, 1997. Serena had a few siblings, and she would grow up going by the name Serenity. Serena grew up in Winnipeg in Canada. She also spent time at the Pine Creek First Nation and also with the Peguis First Nation. At the time this case occurred, she was 19 years old. She was actually just about to graduate high school, something she was really looking forward to. Serena was an outgoing young woman. She was funny. She was incredibly close with her family. Her friends meant everything to her. Serena had a passion for music and for beauty, and she was just loved by everybody. At about 6 p.m. on April 23, 2017, on the Saugeen First Nation, the body of a young woman was found just outside of this house. The young woman appeared to have been beaten pretty severely. She was badly bruised, there was blood. She had a lot of injuries to her face. There were boot impressions on her face and head. The coroner would determine that this young woman essentially died from hypothermia, and that was because she was unable to move or call for help. One, because of how badly she was beaten, and two, she did have some alcohol in her system. And those two contributing factors led to her death. So whoever had beaten her and left her there, this was a murder. Within a couple of days, a video began to circulate through private messaging through stuff like Snapchat, etc. And it was a video of this young woman being beaten. And eventually it made its way to Facebook, where it was then posted publicly. I believe it at one point had been posted publicly by some sort of justice page, which can we just not ever do that? If there's video of somebody's murder, of someone being beaten, don't share that video. You can absolutely talk about it, but for God's sakes, nobody needs to see that, especially the victim's family. It's obviously helpful for police, yes, which police did eventually see the video, and they heard the voices of, I believe, 2 different young women. But the young woman, the victim in question, in fact, was 19-year-old Serena McKay. In the video, Serena could be heard saying, "I'm so sorry," but it's not clear what she was apologizing for. One of the female voices that was not Serena's said, quote, on the video, "If you send anyone after me, I will kill you. I will fucking kill you myself," end quote. Now, one of the suspects who had taken the video had also sent Snapchat images of with blood on their face and their clothes. And in one of these Snapchat conversations, the suspect said that the victim was bleeding a whole lot. So they were able to pretty quickly find out who these 2 girls were on this video. And that's simply because of the fact that they were sending Snapchats and private messages, had distributed that video. And it was 2 teenage girls, both aged 17, I believe. And their names, due to Canadian law, their names have never been made public. So I do not know who they are. But they would both be charged with murder because there is video evidence of these 2 girls beating Serena up and leaving her there. And it was through that beating that rendered her unable to move or call for help, which then led to her dying of hypothermia. Had that beating not taken place, she would not have died from hypothermia. Therefore, it makes it the fault of those 2 girls. I mean, these 2 girls, by all accounts, were joking about it. They thought it was funny at first. They were lying to everyone about it. They lied and said, "Oh, when we left her, she got up and she walked away on her own, so she was good." But then once the suspects found out that she had died, they had sent a message basically saying, "Oh, I think, I might have been involved with that murder." So they left evidence just all over the place. It was obvious it was them. Now, the Crown there was trying to, which is their prosecution, they wanted both girls to be charged or sentenced as adults. Both of these 2 girls would end up pleading guilty. And their defense was arguing, well, they were just, distraught 17-year-old girls. They just, got caught up in the moment, blah, 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 blah. So please give them the lightest sentence possible, even though they've committed a murder. And basically that seems to be what happened. One of the girls was sentenced to 3 years and 8 months. The other girl, I believe, got a similar sentence, but is still currently in prison. And even though they are both now over the age of 18, their names still can't be revealed per Canada law because they committed this murder when they were 17, when they were minors. I know that one of them did issue apologies, but, you know, you wouldn't need to apologize if you didn't beat their loved one to death. And 3 years or 3 to 7 years, whatever they got, is just, that's a slap on the wrist for committing a murder. I don't care that, I mean, they're 17. You're telling me if they committed the murder just a year later, it would be totally different. They would get, you know, life in prison or whatever. I feel like if you commit a crime like, you guys know my thoughts on this. If you commit a crime like that, if you commit an adult crime, you should serve adult time. But, you know, at least Serena did get some justice.